And welcome back, Gamer Nation. SKS here with another episode of 80 Days, part of the 2017 Game Blitz. This is brought to you by Scarlet Ranger. We're going to Tehran. Once I hit the button. Ooh. Ah. The Haram's still... Oh man, that kind of sucked because... And we'll play 9. Go. Alright, so we're back on the train. Our master is at 100% health. A gigantic iron horse reared from the prow of Istanbul-Tehran Express, billowing gouts of steam from its nostrils. The Khmer Taj was distinctly Ottoman in the design. But where even the most luxurious European trains sacrifice weight for efficiency, it was a matter of some pride that the Khmer Taj's engine used a carefully guarded new Persian design, suddenly capable of achieving a top speed of 75 miles per hour. Truly, we live in an age of wonder. This could tip the balance of power. I'm going to say that. In the region, perhaps even start a war. I began our journey with such weighty thoughts, reflecting with some sadness that steam power, for all of its wonders, had only made the great game of empires more dangerous. Your character is now suave. Let's talk to people. Greetings, Ajad Gul. Good evening to you, monsieur. Let's ask him about Tehran. What do you know about Tehran? The Persian alliance with the Ottoman Empire is proving fruitful. Tehran, Tahir. Here's something I do know. Halal is the capital of Al Rashid Emirate. What about Tehran to Baghdad? No idea. But Baghdad is on the border of the Ottoman Empire and their Persian ally. Okay. The first day was short because of our evening departure, so we had just about enough time to secure a compartment and settle my... No, he's good. Observe our fellow passengers. A thick-set janissary from the Turkish guard and a striking red-headed woman who traveled without a veil. Both were settled into their seats, eyes closed, and so did not appear to open conversation. Thus I... If their pockets had been worth picking... No, let them be. And rested myself. I'm not going to pick their pocket. We are covering a lot of territory on this trip. Let's converse again. I'm at your service, Monsieur Fogg. Passepartout? Let's talk about the journey. Tell me, Monsieur, what is the purpose of our journey? I have made a hefty wager, and I do not intend to lose. How are you feeling, Monsieur? I am in roaring health, but we must make haste. Very good, sir. I love that you just trim his mustache and he feels better. I need to try that. With another long day of foggish calm beckoning, I fell into conversation with the thick-built janissary. Oh, let's talk to the... We always talk to the women. The unveiled red-haired woman, eager to talk of engines and gauges and driver diameters. Told me her name was Ksenia Petrovna Volkova, and I asked her how she knew so much about locomotive. Oh, I'm a scholar. She's Russian. Or, I am a scholar of many things, she smiled evasively, and then gave me a challenging look. Do you truly believe that the Persians have a revolutionary new engine? Surely they would not lie. I think they would like us to believe in it. I said thoughtfully. It all seems very political, does it not? Ksenia lifted one eyebrow. Everything is political, she told me seriously, before she deliberately shifted conversation to lighter matters. Curious. Relations with Fogg have improved. Is Mount Elbrus. Take care of Fogg. Thank you, my good man. I feel better. The Khmer Taj stopped for 5 hours at the Arabian border while various uniformed inspectors scrutinized our papers and peered into our faces. Intriguingly, Ksenia was nowhere to be found during this bureaucratic inspection, and only reappeared in our compartment as the Khmer Taj started to pull away beyond the border station. Oh, we've run into a spy, it seems. I kept watch on Ksenia. I stretched my legs. Let's watch this girl. Redheads intrigue me. Who excused herself to go to the conveniences after a look at her pocket watch. I followed her. Despite Monsieur Fogg's raised eyebrow. My curiosity, I admit, overrode my politeness, but... Morde! When I arrived, the conveniences were empty. My suspicions confirmed, I went searching. I pondered the matter, leaning out of the window, when I spotted a flash of red and saw, to my shock, Xinia was hanging from the side of the train. She looked at me through wind goggles and lifted an arm to wave, and I saw her hand was covered in a twisting metal gauntlet. I gestured at her to grab back on before she fell. She's not going to fall. Gauntlet covered in rubber suction cups, much like those on a squid. As I watched, she determinedly began to sucker her way towards the engine car. I was confounded, but impressed by her mad daring, and I stumbled back to my compartment in daze. It was at least an hour before Xinia appeared, cheeks ruddered, but otherwise not a hair out of place. You look flushed, madame. Madame, I suggested calmly, do you like squid? I adore calamari, she agreed, without the slightest hesitation. I was starting to believe I had imagined the whole adventure until she added, particularly the tentacles with those ingenious suckers. Monsieur Fogg looked baffled by the conversation turn, but we exchanged barbed repertoire until all too soon the camouflage pulled into Tehran station. Unsurprisingly, perhaps, the red-haired adventurers had disappeared by the time I gathered up our bags, but by then I was too entranced by the sights and smells of the ancient city of Tehran, capital of the Kingdom of Iran. Our relations with him have went down. Why does he get so pissed when I do these things? Some of our possessions could earn us well here. Let's see. Ooh, I want the railway cap. Astro. Benares, it's worth a lot of money there. I want this railway cap. So we're in Tehran. Obviously, the part's in 2 days. We'll have to figure that out. Kabul, Lahore, Delhi. Okay, we're not going to Halal or Baghdad, so buying things at the market that's worth a lot there is not going to matter. Let's explore and see what we can find here. Khan, Baku, Iran to Bandar Arabe. To say that the capital of the Persian Empire is modern would be deny the unparalleled glory of its ancient monuments and palaces. Yet, jeweled beak copper body birds sing from the branches of the trees, while spare workaday iron automata harvested cotton from the fields outside the city. The Kahar Shahs ruled over an empire almost constantly at war, though you would not know it. As I walked the streets, I felt safer than I might along the banks of the Seine. The city is a garden of culture and art, protected from the skirmishes along its borders. I sat in the cafes with poets as they duelled each other with words and competed for patronage. Huh. So here's the thing, do we want to go south? Cut across, or do we want to go straight across here? There's a lot of city stops here, but I'm wondering if that will go there. Well, we got a mountain range right through here. I think I just want to go to Kabul though. Negotiate. The English's wardrobe should yield result. Oh, most generous. We can leave tomorrow for no charge. Alright, well, let's stay at the hotel overnight. I wandered the streets once more. Oh, God. The poets and musicians retreated as night fell, and the cafes filled with technicians, drinking heavily sweetened coffee and racing their inventions across tabletop. I spoke to Metal Forger, an older woman whose muscular arms bulged under her chador. Lean closer. The other artificers call us mere blacksmiths, she said, waving her burned spotted hands. But could they make their wondrous devices if we didn't first hammer out the copper sheets and spin their wires? It was fine work. I showed them my guild medallion. Are you all artificers here? They're kind of at odds against them, so I don't want to start anything. I'll ask. I asked presenters. We are, but that is hardly enough to qualify us to make automata, a middle-aged fellow by the name of Rafik remarked. Then what qualifications do you need? I asked, leaning forward. In other cultures, Rafik continued derisively, a copper lily may be enough for an artificer to complete their education. But we all apprentice to other guilds and craftsmen. To truly make automata, we must be jewelers, architects, shipwrights, cobblers, doctors, dancers. But then you must learn endlessly. What does dancing have to do with artificing? But you must also learn the skills of the valet. I want to ask this one. What does dancing have to do with artificing? Rafik's eyes flashed. What if you desire to engineer a mechanical capable of grace? We're better than look than the smooth movements of a dancer's limbs. I swallowed. Are you sure you're not a poet? I think I would look at the automata differently now. Like this one. We will make civilized men out of you Europeans yet, Rafik flashed me a grin, taking a sting out of his words. And we clinked our coffee glasses together. Someone further in called out, to the Shah-Shah-Shah! The Shahanshah. Shahanshah! And we all raised our cups and some wag added, may he live forever under the watchful eye of the Prime Minister. And everyone laughed. That is my abiding memory of Tehran. A room full of men and women in the hazy light. A place where people could be both right and humane. Yes, because that's how Iran is today. A rare thing in the world of ours. It is a city, I'm sure, that will stand forever. Until America bombs it someday. Your character is now courageous. Alright, we can go ahead and depart now. Okay, $9. $9 for an extra suitcase. If I knew it was that cheap, I would have been buying stuff all along. Oh, we're back on the same train. The Khmer Taj had extended its route and now ran from Istanbul through the Persian Empire all the way to the British frontier city of Kabul. I was sorry to be leaving Tehran, a place of true possibility. Still, the Khmer Taj left us no doubt that we were leaving. Its engines fired and we rocketed away along the road. Let's see what we can find. Greetings, Monsieur Arabian. Ah, the unfortunate Passepartout. Unfortunate? What the fuck? I'm sure you know all about Kabul. Kabul is the northernmost city of the British Raj. Oh. I wish the names would pop up then. Let's ask about this. Is it possible to go to Kabul to Heret? Have you ever heard that some buyers will pay well for magnifying glasses from Heret? Now, anyway, would you like some more advice on your dress? Yes. Of course, monsieur. What would you say? Ha! You must have confidence in yourself, Passepartout. That's what. What does he mean by that? Possible to Kabul to Lahore. Indeed, one could travel the Palanquin on the Grand Trunk Road from Kabul to Lahore. Ooh, Lahore to Delhi. Apparently Lahore is connected to Delhi, is that right? Speaking of carriages, I understand one can travel from Asuncion to Rio de Janeiro, but the journey is a tiring one. Rio de Janeiro is on the other side of the world! What? What more can you tell me about Rio de Janeiro? Rio de Janeiro is a paradise, plain and simple. Goodbye. Okay, so we got a route from there. Ooh. And what is this? How did he randomly know that? Like, I'm just shocked right now. One of the Armenian porters nudged his Pashtun friend and muttered something uncomplimentary as he watched me struggle to load our things into the luggage car. It is rude to stare, I told them haughtily. You look very strange for a servant, said the Armenian fellow, whose name turned out to be Abadijan. That's who I was just talking to. I looked the man level in the eye. Well, I am a strange sort of servant. I am perfectly a la mode. You look rather strange yourselves. I sniffed, gesturing at their porters' uniforms, which were a disastrous mixture of Persian and Ottoman fashions. They only laughed pityingly in response. Monsieur Abadjan tucked a purple lambswool pashmina around my neck. Perhaps this will help, he said, rather hopelessly. I stroked the soft fabric. As I returned to my compartment, Monsieur Fogg made no comment, distracted by the whistles and shouts which marked our departure from Tehran. Wow, we've had a lot go on. This pashmina scarf should fetch a good price in Agra if we don't find a use for it. Are we going to Agrabah? I woke to the gentle rumble of the train and dressed quickly, deciding to wind my scarf around my neck, fold the scarf into my pocket. Let's keep it around my neck. Monsieur Abadjan was entirely correct in his sartorial assessment. The color suited my complexion very well. Monsieur Fogg took one look at me and raised an eyebrow. Very vibrant, he remarked. Would you like it, monsieur? I asked, holding the pashmina out to him. Monsieur Fogg hesitated a moment, looking at my outstretched hand, and then took the scarf with calm deliberation. Thank you, Passepartout, he said equably, tucking it away. I was stunned. Will you wear it? I asked, emboldened by his acceptance. He gave me a long look at my request as though surprised by it. I will keep it, he said cautiously, but he did not refuse point blank. I was still flabbergasted by the time Kamir Taj pulled into the Harat, on the borders of the Persian Empire and the frontier of the British Indian colonial land. Relations with Fogg have strengthened slightly. What is this weight button? Pickpocketing rife? World's Fair? Okay, there's not that. Oh, so I guess that's just you can look at the newspaper. We had our papers inspected by Persian customs officers with a pair of magnificent extended spectacles made of polished brass and engraved with Farsi script along the arm. He inspected our documents while turning a small lever behind his ear. A pair of smoked glass lenses slipped over the clear one, and he inspected our documents once more. You are widely traveled, he remarked. We are curious people. I smiled brightly. The customs officer looked at the Monsieur Fogg with frank speculation, no doubt failing to see any sign of burning curiosity upon his phlegmatic features. Oh well, it is none of my business, the official remarked philosophically. Your papers are in order. Good luck with your travels. We repeated much of the same experience with the British customs official a few hours later, and so we arrived at Kabul, thoroughly inspected and officially stamped. Okay, that's not creepy at all. Let's go to the market. Chittagong. Where's Chittagong? Field glasses? They just sell for 90, 250, 130. Nothing really sells well here. I don't know what he's talking about. Oh, I feel like the pickpocketing in Paris, that's interesting. Where's Chittagong? I need to know that. Are we en route to go to Chittagong? Oh, we can. Oh yeah, let's go ahead and buy that. No one... Okay. Alright, let's explore. See if we can find anything else. As we explored the city, we rather unceremoniously seized by a score of British infantry and marched along the walls of Kabul, up the mountain ridge, into the fortress of Bala Hissar. Monsieur Fogg protested our treatment, and I stayed silent, as it's him, as benefits a gentleman's valet. We were presented to a small, bespectacled gentleman in a palatial office, which looked rather more like a court, despite the piles of books and surveyor's equipment littering the floor. He gave us a glance over and in spectacle rims. I am Mr. Smith, second assistant political officer to the British mission here. I do not have the pleasure of your acquaintance. I glanced at my master, who straightens his cuff, but otherwise looked as though he might have been out for a mid-morning stroll, and had wandered by merest happenstance into an Afghan palace fort. I am Mr. Phileas Fogg, and this is my valet, Passepartout. I am on a subject of Her Majesty, and passing through Kabul with no small urgency. Urgency? The political officer's eyes flashed behind his lenses. Pray expand a little upon the nature of this urgency, Mr. Fogg. He had the measure of my cool-eyed master. That much was certain. Monsieur Fogg was not used to being on the other side of the interrogation table, and I felt rather protective of him as Monsieur Fogg explained his wager, and our resultant breakneck trip around the world. I could see Smith growing more astonished with each word. Finally, he took off his glasses and tapped them on the table. Were you Russian or Persian spies? He said musingly. You would have a more plausible story. I could not, in all honesty, disagree. My master's ongoing willingness to risk life, limb, and valet for a bet seemed to be the height of nonsense. I fear I did not keep my thoughts from my face either, as I saw Monsieur Fogg's cold glance in my direction. Monsieur Smith's eyebrow raised an eerie mirroring of my master's expression, and he cleared his throat. A friend of mine is traveling to Omsk. I consider it a great favor if you accompany her. Oh, isn't Omsk the other way where I just bought this stupid thing? We're gonna get stuck with somebody and have to go a totally different direction. This changes everything! Good job, Fogg. A particular friend, I wink? You could say that, I suppose. She is very particular, he chortled. Think on it. He dismissed us and returned to his papers without a second glance. Quite a commanding fellow for a mere second assistant political officer. Oh my god. Can we just get out of here? I guess I can't steal this thing back. No, we're going to Chittagong. I'm not... Well, he let us out, so... Let's go ahead and rest overnight. Before retiring, I attended to Monsieur Fogg. No. I ran a few errands for the hotelier, earning 43 pounds, as well as discovering from him that traders in Poyang will pay fantastic amounts for emeralds from Omsk. Man. Oh, that sucks, because we could have... If we could buy jewels there. If we go this way, though... Oh, yeah, let's... You know, let's do it. Let's go north. I'm sure somebody up there will buy the thing. I think we'll be okay. Alright, let's depart. The luggage... Oh, we're taking an airship! This looks like to be a wearisome travel, but the pocket altimeter from our air travels... Okay, well, we could have used some other things. We met the friend of Monsieur Smith, Her Majesty's second assistant political officer in Kabul, at the airship dock. She was wearing a daring red dress, cut in Italian style, draped over with a mink coat lined in satin. I greeted her with a bow, and she swept her eyes over Monsieur Fogg and myself before inclining her head. Where did Smith dig you two up? She asked rhetorically, in the plumbing tones of an ancient English aristocrat. Never mind, I'm Lady Sybil. With that, she swept away, leaving me to manage both our bags and her own assortment of traveling cases. We barely had time to settle into our cabin before the little Schutzlands airship jolted into the air, further evidence of the German Empire's heavy investment in Afghanistan's infrastructure. Oh, so we're heading north. Interesting. Let's converse with her. Greetings, my lady. Passepartout. Why, yes. Let's ask her about Omsk. Pray, tell me about Omsk. The rumor is Omsk is connected to the Vladivostok by rail, but the fare is over 2,000 pounds. What's Vladivostok? Vladivostok is home of the Russian Pacific Fleet. Ooh, Vladivostok to Poyang. Is it possible to go from Vladivostok to Poyang? Yes, one can travel by fisherman boat from Vladivostok to Poyang, but the journey is a tiring one. Oh, nice. Oh, that's back traveling some. Interesting. And I think I will end the episode there. So I hope you've enjoyed this 80 days, brought to you by Scarlet Ranger, part of the 2017 Summer Game Blitz. I will see you all next time. Good night, everybody.